best friend,
Oh,
she's always she's got a Gemini moon. She's
yeah.
always fostering dogs from them, and they're
Oh,
like in a contest right now to win $10,000. They're at the top of the list, but they still need like a couple more signups of emails. But also, yeah, they're just like a really good organization in Rhode Island. So I figured it was very Pisces full moon to like add that to our lives.
absolutely. I love it. Pisces, it is about pets. I love it so
Yeah,
much,
yeah,
especially dogs. Oh,
yeah.
so cute. Amazing. Cool.
So how are you?
Good, good. Everything's good. Mercury day. A lot of talking, but
Yeah,
it's my cup of tea, as English would
yeah,
say. So,
it's true. So for everybody who's here or who watches this later, this is Jasmina, and she's a fellow astrologer, and I figure I would interview her on some astrology because you are constantly interviewing everybody else, and I know you have a ton of information. So
thank
yeah, I wanted
Thank
to
you so
like,
much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's nice to be on the other side for a
right?
change. I think
That's
it's cool.
awesome.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, and for all of my peeps joining, Makayla, we talked about a Venus point star recently. So she was very nice to have me at her home this time. So I love it.
You're welcome. So, like, what are your what's your Mercury qualifications for
Oh
everybody?
yeah, so that's why I call myself a mercurial lady.
Yeah.
I think it's one of my another names somewhere. So I'm a Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Mercury in the ninth house quadrant system, and I have a Virgo rising.
Okay. Oh wow.
Ta-da!
Yep. Qualified.
Am I full? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always, I know that people when think about Mercury, they always think about how we communicate and stuff, but it's also our thought
Mm.
process and how we talk to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always think, because we have this inner voice, and if you have a good placement of Mercury, or if it's, something that's challenged,
Yeah.
it can give you a wrong input. You can talk to yourself in the wrong way. So we have to nurture the way we speak to ourselves as well, not just with the others.
Yeah.
That's how I would interpret Mercury. So in general, Mercury is the fastest planet. So as you know, so it's a lot of. That's why he's a messenger, right? Because he can bring us information right now, right? So it's which that's why rules Gemini, because Geminis love information, love data, love to and then it's ruling Virgo, which love to analyze all that. Everything that Geminis collects, Virgos come in and okay, let's see what it is, and let's categorize this information in a more precise way. But it is all about information, and for Mercury people, for me, information is the power, like knowledge. For
Mm-hmm.
me, that's the power. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I find my strength in in gathering information. That's why I like to talk, as well. Talking is the fastest way of gathering, and reading, learning, the way we put our minds into action, puzzle solving. Like I
Mm-hmm.
love puzzles, and
Yeah.
many different things. When you buy those books, find the difference, or search for missing hidden object or stuff like that. It's all
Okay.
Mercury. It's all the way we. It's like Mercury in Scorpio would like that hidden object more
Yeah.
than. So you think about that. There's always a fun stuff for every words, as Joe says, words. Yeah,
So
it's all about.
did you like crossword puzzles and stuff? Or
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Even Sudoku, which is more of a Virgo side. So that's also Mercury. So Virgo Mercury, in my opinion, is more about numbers,
Yep.
and Gemini Mercury is more about words.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's how I see it. Um, and yeah, and I did finish accounting, and my whole life profession is accounting and numbers, which is
That
yeah.
makes
Anyway,
sense.
yeah.
So maybe can you explain to us like the difference, because one is an earth sign too and one is an air sign. So maybe to like deepen in like the difference between like Mercury being Gemini air and Mercury being Virgo earth.
Yes. So Mercury in air, it's about the way our ideas, the way we process the information in our heads, or it's more with words, as I said. Virgo is more about numbers or categorizing or analyzing it. Geminis don't necessarily like to organize, or they just collect,
Yeah.
so they're just there's like, I want more of this, and how many books and how many this, and having 7 screens and gathering. But Virgo needs to find an order out of all this chaos that Gemini
Yeah.
collects. But it's both about information. It's about having the information and using it. Like all air signs, Geminis use this information to connect with others. It's about finding that connection with others and stuff. Virgo is more about practical. How can I use this information in a practical way? How can I ground that information, actually make use of it? Because for Gemini, it's just it's important. That the information is the main thing, and for Virgos is how to produce something with that information. That's how I find the difference between Virgo and Geminis.
And because you have the moon in Gemini, do you find that it's nurturing for you to like learn and to gather information?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was always a worm, like a bookworm, and I was a kid. There was no internet when I grew up, so like it was books and then sometimes TV, and we had like 3 channels, and it was later in the day it was DVDs and stuff. It was in CDs, so it was like radio. It was like you would oh my God, I have to listen at 4 o'clock that something that I want to listen to. So it was not an easy thing to gather information. I think these days we are overwhelmed also with that. So I think that Virgo helps us process and to gather information that really it's important for us. Like I think that's another difference, right? Because with all this coming into our lives, we sometimes get lost. What is important? What information I really need? Like what is the real information? And there's so many different things, right, that is happening. So for my moon in Gemini, I need to talk about when I'm sad, when I'm mad, when I'm happy, when I need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, so that's my number one thing that makes me feel happy and nurtured, and my needs are satisfied when people want to talk to me. If people don't want to talk to me, I'm sad.
Yeah. I resonate with that because like my 9th house cusp is ruled by Gemini, and I've also like found that like higher knowledge and education and collecting it, like I've done like so many astrology classes. I laugh at myself because I do the gathering thing in that area of my life, like you talk about. I just like it's reminding me of like I'm getting the image of like when we're kids and we're doing like the scavenger hunt around Easter, if you've done that, right? And like the little eggs get hidden everywhere, and you like go around and you gather all the eggs, and then the processing part or the practical discerning part is like when you sit down with your basket and you crack them open and you decide you only want to keep the ones with like the dollar bills.
Yeah. Well, like for Halloween, for Halloween, when you get a bunch of and I don't like these, wow, what are the raisins doing in this basket? Kind of like dismissing stuff and then choosing the one that you like. That's how I feel. Gemini loves to, I want all of it. And then Virgo comes in, okay, this is good, this is not good, if some kind of like that. Learning things, and the downside of it, and as I find, especially in the youth, is that I was very superficial in knowing many things, but not deeply enough, right? So I never went, like languages, for example. I started learning. Look at this. So my first language is Croatian, and I learned English, German, Latin, Old Greek, French. Like, but do I speak any of it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So did I really use it?
Yeah.
But
well, now you live in Canada too, right?
Yeah.
Where some of it is French and English as well.
Yeah. My story is like I was born in Canada, but my parents took me to Croatia when I was just a baby, 3 months old. So I came back 7 years ago. But it's interesting. Yeah, that's also an interesting story. But I just said I never like somebody, you know, he's passionate about something, they go deeply into the topic, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I never had that as a true gem. I never had that. So I had like a lot of interest, and because I was so curious. There's also Mercury, being curious, right? So wanted to know, oh my God, this is so interesting, and what, you know, and then you just lose your focus, and you, oh my God, you know, so many flowers. I just look at that. Oh my God, oh, I'm gonna miss this, and then you know, I have this FOMO of missing information, and you just leave this and go to the next one. So, but as I, of course, as you grow older and you kind of, you know, evolve as a person, you know, you kind of want to go deeper into some subject that are interest of yours, right? So. You know, after Saturn return, that's also helpful. It's also helpful to go
You kind of
you know, Saturn helps you with.
grew into the Virgo process of your chart like later on.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
that's true.
it
Yes, true.
seems to me too, like you're saying that you know, Mercury, Gemini, and Virgo can also be associated with like travel and like making connections, if you will.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's interesting. I always love to travel, but I have all this study in my ninth house, so it's also connected with that Sagittarius kind of a understanding of higher mind, and you know, meeting other cultures. And I was always curious, what is happening, you know, what all these people, I wanted to learn about others, and through travel especially, and you know, history. I loved history, and you know, what happened before and how it reflects in the future. So many interests. So that, as I said, the downside of Mercury is that it can just go all over the place, literally physically traveling and mentally traveling. And you know, so your other placements in your chart usually help you to focus or to get some kind of clarity and time. I think Saturn helps you, because when we're young, we don't understand. We learn much faster, right? So we pick up information much faster because we're young, and then later you kind of find interests, you know, you kind of, yeah, anyway. So
Yeah.
that's Mercury. That's the
It's so fast. So to deep, I do want to touch on Mercury retrograde because it's always a hot topic. But before that, like, how would you have somebody synthesize like the house placement of Mercury in their chart? Like,
so I like to talk about, when I talk about Mercury, I like to talk about elements
okay.
and modalities. I mean, usually we talk about planets because it gives us like overall picture of what's going on. So like we have Earth, Mercury is very active this year because they're going retrograde. So every year they go in one element. So what is Earth Mercury about? Like what are they? Because it's so untangible. You know, when you think about Mercury, you think about untangible things, but then it's putting your ideas, your thoughts, and your communication skills in something pragmatic. Writing a book, writing a blog, you know, making some kind of a practical content, not just leaving it in your head, but actually making it real, manifesting your idea. That's what I would say for Mercury and Earth. They're actually are the best manifestors of what's in our mind. The air ones are usually just in your head, so it stays there. They like to just bounce off ideas and, you know, brainstorm, philosophize, you know, just blah blah blah. Like, you know, they don't do much. But when somebody else, like, I'm always thinking, when you have an air Mercury in the room, they like to connect with others, so the other person can get some information from them because they don't have it. So they're kind of like, that's why they're messengers. I think the air Mercury's, all three are the messengers. You know, Aquarius and Libra and Gemini, they like to connect, they all like to learn and communicate stuff. So other people can learn from them, let's say, because they're the gatherers of information. Earth ones are manifesting the information, and then we have the fire ones. They're the motivators of our brain, as I said. You know, this is right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like they're lighting up.
Yeah.
You know, so imagine it's like we have like a air Mercury having an idea, and then the fire Mercury gets that excitement and motivation, and you know, and then you know, other people pick it up. So
Yeah.
it can be it's very good for entertainment business, for for actors, for people who we see on stage, because not just Leos, but even Sagittarius, Mercury's, and they're very out there. They're seen, right? So
Yeah,
you can you can kind of see the presence of them, all
yeah.
three, right? What is the third? What is the third fire sign? What is
Leo,
happening with me? Sag,
Leo, Aries, and Sag. Yeah,
Aries. Yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Aries.
Mer
With Aries, we know what it is. So, but they're out there. You hear them. You hear their
yeah,
voice. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
especially the direct, like
I,
um, and
I
then we
feel,
have the water ones. The water ones are more in tune with their emotions. I like that blend. This is the great blend between getting in tune with how you feel and what you think. Isn't that beautiful? I
yeah.
feel that, and understanding you, I don't know, I can understanding your emotions on a deeper level, like investigators, like the Scorpios are more investigators, and then Cancerians, they can think, uh, they can think about, what is Cancer about, like, nurturing, and they can think about what are they doing in that emotional way, how are they going to do
Mhm.
it. So I just love that blend between water and mind
It gives me like
one side.
musician vibes too. It gives me like,
Maybe the Pisces one,
yeah,
yes, especially, yes,
yeah,
artistic, yes. It's also about music, expressing through art, because it's not about just talking, it's about our thought process and ideas. So how
yeah,
we express them, it's more artistically or practically, or just firing up stuff and
yeah.
actively doing it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
like
that's that.
trying to get the feeling realm or the stuff that we can't grasp, and then like being able to communicate it, whether that's through like playing something or communicate. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah, yeah, isn't
yeah.
that amazing? I always think about Mercury in Pisces specifically, like a messenger between our unconscious and conscious,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
or Scorpio even. If you have a connection with Mercury and Pluto, it's like you kind of have to see where the Mercury is in your chart, and what is it
yeah,
touches,
yeah.
because when it touches something that you can see what type of blend it will bring outside, how it'll manifest.
Well,
So this is something in general that I see that for Mercury's, it can
that's a
be,
good point too, right? Because the other planets that are aspecting the Mercury in the chart also affect it. Like in my chart, I have Mercury in Aries, so I do give inspiration and a sense of agency. I feel for other people, and a motivator and such. Like, you can do this. Like, we're gonna do this, or this is a great idea, right?
public speakers, the best motivator speakers, life coaches, and public speakers are Aries Mercury's, in my opinion,
They,
because they give they have this, and then everybody wants to do it. Like,
yeah,
oh, I want to. They get like, I want to do it now. I can do it.
yeah,
Although I'm a Mercury in Pisces, oh yes, I can do this. I can do my song now, right? Because they give this motivation and inspiration
yeah,
for others, especially Aries, because they have this self-confidence, right? When they talk, when they speak, you feel that. So you get kind of, it's
yeah,
catchy, right?
yeah.
It's catchy. I
It
love
took
it.
me a while because my Mercury squares my Saturn in Capricorn. So the time thing you talked about, like, that's definitely been something I had to grow into. And it was post Saturn return where that
Yeah.
really just got activated. And then astrology obviously helped, and I worked harder on, especially like public speaking, which is something I've always wanted to do. But being able to articulate myself without using but those things are just allowing speech to flow took a little bit longer for me to do, but the consciousness or the awareness brought that in. So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
interesting. Yeah,
But that's the same Saturn. Of course, you need time,
yeah,
but it gave you the ability to structure the words to get out from your mouth in a very nice way,
yeah,
not impulsively. It gives you the time to pause. Actually, that Saturn helps you to pause a little, because
yeah,
if you didn't have that, you just go and blur, blur, blur,
yeah,
right?
correct.
You have
Yeah,
So it
yes,
helps you very much. That's
yes,
how I look at Saturn. It is hard, and it gives delays, because you have to kind of learn to work with it, because what is it? Why am I, and then, but when you embrace it, oh, you see it as an advantage. Like, oh my God, look, it's helping me to sound more clearly, more,
yeah,
because, you know, when you're very fiery and you have this people can look at it, what is she? She's crazy. Like
Yes.
blah blah blah. Like this, when you're more, you sound more calm. You're still confident, but with more calm. So I think it's a beautiful blend.
Yeah.
All this squares are great.
What about before I guess we got into like Mercury retrograde? What about transiting Mercury in somebody's chart?
Okay, so I just spoke. I had a live with Hannah this morning on her YouTube, and we were talking about something, and I just cleared my. It was just interesting because I was preparing for this talk as well. And why is Mercury going retrograde 3 times a year, and other planets go not as often?
Yeah.
Because we need 3 times a year to kind of reflect on our communication style and the way we think and stuff. We need it more often because we use Mercury more often than other planets.
Oh yeah. Yes.
We use them every day.
True.
Mercury is
every day.
We think about it. We think every day. We talk every day. So that's why we need to reflect more often.
Yeah.
And that's why Mercury, when it goes through some of your houses and how the transit affects you, it gives you an opportunity to look at your communication style within the house or something. Is it your partner? Is it with your friends? Is it with yourself? Is it in your everyday work life with your colleagues? It gives you time, and we need this checkup 3 times a year. Trust me, we need it.
No, that's really true. It's really true because it gives us a moment to pause instead of like running our minds through. Because when we go back to what you said in the beginning of Mercury being our self-talk and how important that is, right? So that we can cultivate self-love and nurturing and get on with the rest of our chart, right? So those pauses, yeah, those are really, 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 really important. Yeah.
That's what I feel. It's in depending on which house is touching, is it touching when it's resonating you, but it has more effect. It has more effect than something else because it's quick, right? So you will feel it more strongly. Like Saturn or Pluto, they're transiting for a long time, and it's not like on every day you're gonna feel Saturn or Pluto. You're gonna feel it through a long period of time for a little bit of pieces. When Mercury does something, you feel it. Oh, look, my computer is dead. Like my car battery is gone or something. You're gonna feel it instantly, right? So you have to react fast. It kind of forces you to be more mutable and adaptable. It because that's what he is. So it forces you to kind of. So I always feel kind of sad for strong fixed sign people. It's very hard because I think it's hitting them harder than somebody like I'm mutable by nature, so I can adapt more faster to these changes. And okay, it happens, but so it also depends if your chart is if it's a fixed chart, if you have that, and Mercury can affect you more, I believe, than if you're mutable. Just because you're not in tune with all this change, it gives you anxiety and stress, and so
I've got no mutable planets in my chart. I have no planets in mutable signs. I'm sorry. I have no planets
okay, I got it.
in my chart. And it's funny because I draw in a lot of mutable people into my life. And I feel
that's a good thing
that they're helping me transition, because the cardinal can go that I've got a whole lot of fixity in my chart, but these mutable people come in at these certain times and they're like, on to the next, Makayla. And I'm like, I don't want to move.
That is so true. That is so true. Like I have no Earth placements, for example, except Virgo rising. So I have so many Capricorns in my life and Taurus people, because Virgos, I can't even tell you how many Virgos I have in my life. Just because we need that balance. Life kind of gives you, so you learn from them and balance it out, and also with modalities, right? So if you have that, so I find that Mercury transits are more harsh on people who are harder to adopt and to change.
Yeah.
That's how I find it.
So what do you think about this Mercury retrograde that we're currently in? Because you're doing an excellent job, by the way, articulating, because it's also opposite Neptune. And I was like, how is this going to go, retrograde?
So what is it if it's opposing Neptune? What would you do? It's a perfect way to create for creative writing, for example, right? Yeah. This is the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah. Put all this imagination that you have in your head, use use it in some kind of a way, depending on where your Mercury is natally. But you can use this to create something, something tangible, something nice, something that you enjoy. It doesn't matter what it is, right? So it can help you verbalize your daydreams, maybe, or something, or dreams, that, helps you kind of put them in different perspective, not just out there somewhere, but maybe coming them more in tune with here. With Virgo, Mercury, because it's so keen on the details, right? So the big picture of Neptune, you can narrow it down to one little thing. It can kind of give you a focus on some kind of, like, you just narrow it down one little, Neptunian thing, that you can just listen to music, or just, read poems. Don't go over the top. So Mercury in Virgo gives it this little bit of clarity, and, focus on one little thing, right? We just don't want to overly focus. So the other problem of this Mercury in Virgo is that we can be overly attached to one little detail, not letting go. Like, oh, this little thing, it bothers me so much. It has to be perfect, because it can't be perfect. So that's also a problem. We want to make, imagine you're writing a book. Oh, look at that dot. It should be, a comma dot, not dot. Like, and it bothers you so much. And you're like,
Right. Right. Yeah. No,
stuff like that. We can be.
I resonate with that Virgo-ness. My sun is in the Virgo house. It's in the 6th house, but also picking up this transit of, like, Virgo does want things to be, acutely detailed, or perfection is the goal and stuff. But, like, the healing to that is, the antidote of that is the opposite, the Pisces, of just surrendering and letting go, and understanding that it's whole as it is, essentially.
Especially when it's retrograde. So when it's retrograde, when it's direct, okay, then do it.
Yeah.
Go to your to-do list. Da 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 da. When it's retrograde, it's okay. Let's stop. Like, don't be overly obsessive. I know I don't like to use word. What is that? Obsessive compulsion. Everybody's OCD. Everybody's using that word. It's not funny, because people actually do have OCDs, and it's a serious thing. So I don't like to use the everyday jargon, but it can, when it's retrograde, it can kind of gives you a pause to stop maybe obsessing over some details, what you're having, even in your head, like you can have this in your head, it's not probably real. So maybe a pause of obsessing with some stuff, and you said letting go, as Pisces do, and just surrendering.
That's practical advice.
Yeah.
What else do you think about Mercury retrogrades? Like,
so every year, look at my brain. Every year they go through one element, right? So this year we have everything in Earth. So this gives us an opportunity to clean our Earth houses. To clean them up with Mercury. So how will we clean up with Mercury? Are we overly thinking about this area of life? Like, am I obsessed with value and money? If it's your 2nd house, like, oh my God, so it's usually how they go. So it can kind of give us opportunity to reflect mentally on what is going in our Earth houses. Okay, because next year it's gonna be all in fire. So all the Mercury's in fire are going to be very dramatic. I'm going to feel that it's going to be more. Because these Mercuries are quiet. These are Earth Mercuries. They're more practical. They're more inwards. I feel next year we're going to kind of hear. It's going to be more out there, and we can hear what's going on, and how it's also, it will give us an opportunity to action in our firehouses next year. And we can revise what kind of action we need to do, like, as well. So it's different energy.
That's super in alignment, because Saturn is in Pisces, like, basically bringing major closures in our life to an end, and cleaning up some stuff. And so it makes sense that Mercury retrogrades would want us to clean up the tangible, earthy reality, like, in our physical world, so that when we do get the opportunity next year for inspiration to spark through our our capacity to imagine or think things up, then there'll be space, essentially, for those things to come in.
I was thinking, yeah, this, for example, Virgo now, or even Taurus, like going through contracts,
Mm.
going redo your will. I don't know, go through some practical contracts that you have, or some kind of paperwork you need to do. This is a good time to revise, like
Yeah.
especially in Virgo. Revise your documents that you need to, need to go over now. Like your will, for example, if you want to redo your will or something that occurred to me, like, this is a good time to, and then when it goes there back, do it. But now you have time to kind of, because it's practical, it's earth, it's, document, it's, I don't know. I'm just thinking
That's
about,
exactly what I did yesterday. I went through all my
yeah,
mail that
really.
I've been procrastinating with. I was like, now's the time, Yeah. And my emails, you know?
Emails, that's a perfect way to, so this is what earth Mercury does,
Yeah.
like cleaning up all this all this mess that you have
Yeah.
in your head and around yourself, right? So when it comes to fire, it's going to be all done. We're done with all this cleaning up. It's going to be about action, and you're going to be revised many different things back then. It's going to be more how you communicate, your communication style, and out there seen, right? This is the work you do by yourself more. I feel in earth signs, right? It's
Yeah.
something that you kind of reflect and do on your own. Next year is going to be visible out there with your loved ones and your friends and your co-workers. Everybody's going to see your
Right.
Mercury's retrogrades and directs and how they
Right.
reflect, right? Yeah.
So for people who, because like the big three is usually the most people know about their chart, or they at least start to understand astrology with.
Yes.
So could you talk about like the ascendant different from in Virgo, different than Gemini, and then like the moon and the sun?
Yes. What I feel about I can talk from just from
Yeah.
my perspective, only my wife, but ascendant is what you want to be seen as. I
Yeah.
feel like I want to be seen as a reliable Virgo, efficient. This is what I want to be seen. But am I really that person? I don't know. I'm more of a Gemini person who really likes to talk and chat and travel and
Yeah.
learn and have fun with friends. I don't necessarily want to work like a Virgo, to be honest, but I want to be seen as that.
Yeah.
So that's why I use that you, people when they see Virgo, they see my clean house, they see my order, my I don't have any unread emails. Like people have, when I see that somebody has this bold unread 300 something, I
Yeah.
get like, oh my god, how can you? No,
Don't look
I
at my
like,
phone.
like
Yep. Yep.
I don't have no notifications, nothing unanswered. I have to reply to everything within right now. Otherwise, I get anxiety. So this Virgo is very strong with me, which that's not really me, to be
Yep.
honest. Like I'm more of a like a Gemini, more of a kid, teenager kind of a person who likes to chat and have fun and go outside. But this is the big difference between Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Ascendant is something that we want to be seen as. That's how I would say it, right? So some values that you feel that other people will value in you. Did I go too far? But something like that in that sense, right?
Yeah.
So I feel that this is valuable. So this is like something also what you value. I value reliability in others as well, right? So that's why I'm showing it, because I also want to see it in others as well. So
Right.
something like that in that sense. So the Mercury from the Virgo side helps me with organization, helps me with numbers, like accounting. What is it? It's literally numbers and making sure that credit it's debit and it all balances out. And the satisfaction when everything balances out. I can't tell you how happy that makes my Virgo. Right? It's ridiculous. um, yeah. So that is the major difference, right? So the sun is really who we really are. Like when we strip everything, society where we live, what do we expect? What do we feel that other people expect from us? How do we want to be seen? When you strip everything down, this is your sun. This is who you are, and then your mood is what you really need to feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. So for me, it's almost everything the same because it's all Mercury
Yeah.
ruled. So same things. I'm not that diverse. I same things make me happy, and but there is a huge difference between Mercury ruled Virgo and Gemini in that sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
So
that.
like
That's what it is.
a Gemini rising might be more like outgoing, right? Maybe like the life of the party, as whereas
Yeah,
like Virgo is cleaning
exactly.
up. around everybody.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like I have to force myself to wear color because usually I'm in gray, whites. Like I'm like more of a Virgo. You know, like look at this, everything. I don't have many, but I force myself now because I want to kind of explore. But usually,
Yeah.
I was always in jeans as young. Jeans and white shirt. That's me.
Yeah.
You can't. I don't want. I want to blend in with others. So Gemini's, yeah, I love Gemini risings. I have many friends Gemini risings because I think I connect better with them because I kind of this is who I am. That's what I'm saying. This is my son,
Yeah.
and they bring me like they're showing me, oh, this is who I really am.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Well, you are too, because I mean, even on your page and stuff, like I was talking to you on the side a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, you're like an interviewer. Like, you need your own show, like your own like talk show, you know?
But
So
it took me so much time to do that, to be honest. Look, I'm 45.
yeah,
It took me that much time to actually, you know, when Uranus was opposing my Uranus, that's what it is, guys. That's a midlife crisis. You can do different ways. I choose to embrace it and finally do what I want, and it's astrology. Because astrology was always in my life since I was, I think, 11 or 12. Like my first Jupiter return, it was always there, and then I kind of didn't want to, it wasn't acceptable by others. I won't fit in because the Virgo rising wants to also to fit in, and you has to be, if I do astrology, I'm not a reliable person. It's not a reliable job.
yeah,
So I was fighting that as well, right? So it was always there, but when this is midlife crisis, something that you were putting aside all your life, you didn't want to embrace. It came to me, said, yes, this is it, now or never, right? So that's
yep.
that's why
Somebody asked you if, and I was just going to ask it where your Uranus was. Do you have the Neptune Uranus in Sag or Scorpio?
I have my Neptune in Sag opposing my Sun.
Okay. Yep. And then
And my
yeah.
Uranus is in Scorpio in the second house. It's in Scorpio. And my Uranus is beautiful. It's trining my Venus. It's what else what is it doing? Trining Jupiter. Like I have some. It's nice. It's nice. It's a nice Uranus, to be honest. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, so it like cracked you open and it allowed you to, use your own personal assets, which I accumulate as a second house thing, and to reach
if you
out. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you go to whole sign, then it's in my third. So I was, so in my whole sign, it's my third. So it's also about knowledge and education and communication and stuff. But it's also Scorpio is about going deep in this occult thing, like astrology is occult. It's not even occult. It's just it was a science back in the day. I don't want to go there, but so it's like finally, digging deep because I was learning and digging, but finally revealing that's what it brought me. So
yeah.
Somebody buys a motorcycle they always wanted, and somebody goes and finally gets a course in astrology like me. So life crisis in different ways, right? Which is funny. Which is funny, with all this Mercury I have, of course, my real life crisis was about learning and getting knowledge, right?
And then you just like had to be consumed in it, right? Like then it was like Gemini was activated. Yeah.
Yes. Then I was thinking because I started my page, like I got out in January, just saying I am, this is what I want to do. And I was thinking, what do I like really the most? Like what is a Mercury? I like to talk. Meet new people, and I love astrology. And this is just meeting other astrologers was something that natural, and I enjoy in each one of you guys that I talked. Everyone taught me something. Everyone got me insights to understanding myself and what is happier for my Gemini moon than to have that sense of learning something that makes me so happy.
Yes. I know, because when Gemini is like lit up, it's just so like flirty and fun to me. It's just such a fun light energy. It's a connection maker. It's the life. It's life of the party. I think Miley has some Gemini, Miley Cyrus, and I think she's so sparkly and fun. Like
it can be too much. I also have that understanding now with as I grew and have experienced that it can be too much for some people. Like it's just, oh my God, it's too much. I need more peace. And why you're just all over it, too enthusiastic. Many people when I was younger would told me, calm down, don't be so loud, don't be. anyway, another story. But
Yeah.
you know, because but I took it hard. Like, oh my God, like I
Yeah.
can. This is also one of the stuff that you kind of go as you grow up and embrace who you are, and you know. But I can understand now it can be too much for somebody, you know, because when you come to a room and you and somebody has a bad day, you know, please, you know. So,
Mm.
and also if I like to talk about it, you know, I will tell you a story. Like it's interesting. I have a son who's 3 years old, and he has moon in Scorpio. Okay, so totally different
Oh
moon.
yeah.
Okay, thank God for astrology. Otherwise, I would be a very frustrated mom
Mm.
because you know he comes from daycare and you know he's not in a good mood or something, and you know now I just hug him. If you know, I try to talk, and he goes, "Mommy, stop talking."
Mm.
He tells me, "Mommy, stop talking." For me, naturally, okay, let's talk about what's wrong, what happened at daycare. You know, let's talk. No, Mommy, stop talking. He needs just a hug or time on his own, and then he comes to me later. And that's what Scorpio needs. You know,
Yep.
Scorpio, they need time to, you know, to reflect, to understand. Then when they're ready, they'll come. So,
That's beautiful. No, that's
right?
beautiful because you accessing your knowledge and awakening all that for you now is helping with your parenting. That's perfect.
Absolutely. Even for people who don't want to learn a lot about astrology, if they could just learn about the moon of their kid, just moon,
Yeah.
they would do a huge favor to themselves and their
Yeah.
kid. They're going to be less frustrated, and kids going to be much
Yeah.
happier. Just learning about their moon.
Yeah.
So that would be
Well,
just
maybe you need
a tip for
to do a series on that.
yes, I'm actually thinking about my brain. If you just know, Makayla, what is in here and what I have my list, my Virgo rising list, I want to do this and this and that and that. Anyway, I have some ideas. I want to talk to you about it to you later. I have an idea about something. I won't say it out loud yet, but
Okay.
we'll talk later.
Okay. All right. I love it. I thought this was a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, you
So,
did? Okay, cool.
hold on. My moon is a Sag moon, and my brother has a Scorpio moon, and all my mom really needs to do is let him be, but she also likes to talk out the feels.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the problem then with in a relationship, because
Yeah.
when you understand, I still have an urge. I want to know what happened at daycare. I really want to. I'm curious. I'm
Yeah.
Gemini, but no, he will tell me as much as he wants when he needs, and that's fine. It's
Yeah.
his life. It's his way of coping, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention something else that I learned
Yeah.
yesterday. I wasn't aware of it before. I want to shout out to Astro Victor. I don't know if you know about him. He had a video on Mercury retrogrades. I didn't know that there's a repeating sequence every 11th month, and that actually Mercury in the sky makes a Star of David with
Oh,
retrogrades.
I did not know
I
this.
was,
That's like the Venus star point, but with
yes,
Mercury.
yeah, and it does a star. It's a Star of David, and why? So he says that we go every 11 months before. So I'll give you an example. So he gave an example for next year. What does it mean? So we're going to have this Mercury retrograde starting in December in
Yep.
Capricorn, but it's going to end in Sag in January.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So it's going to go, right? So to Sag, yes, it's starting Capricorn 8 degrees. How it's going to go? Yeah, so it's going to go back to Sag 22 degrees in January. So we're going to go back. And then the last retrograde, end of December 2024, it's gonna go direct. It's gonna go retrograde in Sag again. So
Yep.
it's gonna. So every 11 months, when something when they go direct in one, it's gonna go retrograde in the same sign 11 months after. And if you
So it
something like that.
overlaps, like every 11 months, it basically
Yes,
goes into two elements and
yes,
it kind of overlaps like
yes.
that. Okay.
So and it makes, because the way it touches sun so often, it makes the Star of David in the
That's,
sky.
I
If
just got
depending
chills.
it, yeah, depending is it retrograde or direct superior inferior, right? Just like Venus, right? Is the same. So but it's anyway. So that was really interesting. I thought that was a thing I wanted to mention because I learned yesterday. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. That's very
I
cool.
mean, that
Which
has to be cyclical with, especially for mercurial people with some type of a bigger life cycle, just like when we talked about the Venus star point does the same thing. then Mercury themes must come up with that star point in the natal chart as well. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, so
to
I'm gonna actually go
yeah,
reflect. I didn't have time, but I'm gonna go back because I have such a strong Mercury, to see what happened. Which Mercury's actually made a difference, like signing a contract, or
yeah,
something that was mercurial,
yeah,
or if your car broke in a retrograde,
yeah,
like stuff like that. Anyway,
yeah,
so I thought it was an interesting thing to mention, because I just learned about it when
yeah,
you talk about Mercury.
absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Like, do you have, I don't know, do you have any other things you want to add, or any
No, I think it.
yeah,
No, I think I can talk all day, all night about astrology, but I think this was something that we just kind of had a little summary of Mercury, which is good enough. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. It was pretty much fun.
thank you so
Cool.
much. So everyone, you'll be able to watch this if you joined in late. You'll get it on the end, and please go give Jasmina a follow on her profile. And I know you're doing astrology readings, right? As well.
I do astrology readings,
Yeah.
yeah, natal, and forecasting. Usually, that's
Yeah.
my thing.
So,
Yeah, I do them. Yeah, you can find on my website. You can book a reading there. Yeah, for any other astrologers that are here listening, if you want to have a live with me, send me a DM, or if you have anything, or for anybody who's listening, if you have any topic you want to hear more about, I'm here. I have some interesting guests in September, all booked already. I have a
it's amazing. You were booked
yeah,
out. I remember when we booked. I was like, damn,
yeah,
it's like 4 weeks
yeah,
away.
yeah. I have like a month ahead, like every week, every 5, 6 days, I have something, to keep me going anyway.
Yep.
So
Thank
thank you,
you.
everybody. I really enjoyed this. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be a guest.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
thank you.
I'll talk to you later on the side, okay?
Yes.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.